Hello and welcome to the Southwest Institute of the Healing Arts National Life Coaching Month. My name is Sharon Rose. I am the Soul Stylist, and I am here today with Miss Jennifer. She is going to be my co-coach, client, and friend here as we go through the 5 stages of spiritual growth. So this is going to be a little bit of a mixture of conversation, coaching, and interaction with you. So ask questions, comment below, let us know that you're here. And if things come up as we're coaching, please interact with us. We're here to support you as much as you're here for us. Hi, Michael. Nice to see you. All right, so we're going to jump right in. So as we begin with every coaching call, we are going to ground and center together. And so do you have a way that you ground and center into your space?
Just take a few deep breaths.
Beautiful. Okay. I'm very similar. So let's just take like 30, 45 seconds to just like drop in and be in the space together.
Perfect.
Beautiful.
Thank you.
So thank you for being here.
Thank you.
Thank you all for being here. It's wonderful to have you. Hi, Dulce. Hi, Becca. Hi, Michael. Hi, Crystal. Love you all. Thank you for being here. So today we're going to talk about the 5 stages of spiritual growth. And so the 5 stages of spiritual growth kind of came to me over the last year as I was going through my own process, my own transformation. And these were awarenesses that I had about where I was on my spiritual path as I was working through specific things. So, Jennifer, the first step, the first stage of spiritual growth is having an awareness. And for a lot of us, it's called the awakening. It's, oh, that's when I woke up. That's when I realized that there was another way to live, or that there was something bigger out there than myself, right? Mm-hmm. And so that's like our big awakening, is our big first awareness that usually sets us down this spiritual path. And so tell me a little bit about your first awareness or your awakening, or what's going on for you right now, that your awareness that you're working on right now.
So for me, at the very beginning of 2010 is my huge spiritual awakening. And that started with the path of forgiveness. And as I'm fast forwarding today, I'm actually working on my public speaking skills and being able to share my stories and the pain that I went through, so to help inspire other people and getting them out of feeling like they're alone and broken and hopeless, and letting them realize that they're true inner light.
Beautiful. So how did you come about that awareness? Like, when did you realize that it was the public speaking that was holding you back, per se, from being able to get your story out there?
Well, I was sharing stories with my friends and my family, and they kept telling me, like, you have a story to share. And I was held back for so long because of some childhood trauma that was the last thing I wanted to do. Mm-hmm. And I noticed as I was sharing bits and pieces of myself, these women were actually changing. And I realized if I can give them that gift and their presence in my life as a gift, it's something to step up.
Wow, that's so beautiful. So by you having your own awareness and then being with it, what kind of emotions came up for you when you had this awareness and you realized that your stories were helping people?
At first, it was a place of feeling a little apprehensive, afraid, because as many of you know, when you've gone through so much trauma in your life, the last thing you want to do is share it. And you've been told for so long, don't say anything, make sure that everything is okay. And I've learned, by sharing more, I've healed a lot faster. And that I was able to connect with other people on such a soul level.
Ooh, my solar plexus and my heart are on fire right now. Yeah, we're told that our stories are our own and we should keep them inside and not share, that we should almost be ashamed or like guilty for the things that we've been through. Hi, Teresa. And so it's really beautiful that you've come to this place. You had this awareness that your voice and your story is how you can help heal others. So that's beautiful. So that's the first stage. So what awareness have you had recently that you're working through? What is the big thing that's up for you that's either, or what was your big awakening? Have you gone back and actually thought about that experience much and like look at how far you've come from when you first had that awareness or experience. Just a thought, just something to ponder and think about. And then once we talk about that, so that's beautiful. You know that your big awareness is that your voice is going to be able to help you heal others and yourself by speaking your story, and that's beautiful. So the next stage of spiritual growth is going to be the work. So what is the work that you're doing to bring this awareness to like figure out and navigate through the different emotions and happenings that are coming up for you since this awareness?
So for me, it started when I had the invitation by Casey Miller to join a Serious Sutras group. And at that point, I remember writing my first sutra interpretation based on my life. And I was about to post it, and my boyfriend looks at me and he says, "Are you sure you really want to put that out there?" Ooh. And it was a closed group, but still around people I knew nothing about, and they knew nothing about me. And I remember after I'd posted that, it was Spirit's way of saying, it's okay, you're safe. It's time. So I was doing that behind a closed group, behind the words, behind a computer screen. I started there because I felt safe.
And that's a great place to start. Like we start where we feel safe, because usually even the place we feel safe is still something that is a little bit difficult or a challenge for us, because it's still not what we're used to. So even putting yourself out there in a closed group can still be really nerve-wracking. And so that's great work. And so I'm curious, because your partner said that to you, are you really going to do that? Are you going to put your stuff out there? Like, what did that bring up for you? Because that must have brought up some new awareness or some like something new that you must have been like, oh no, now I have more work to do.
There was a lot more. In fact, as I was progressing through the sutra work, the stories became deeper, more profound, more raw. Ooh. And I had women reaching out to me saying, "You too." And that was when I realized I wasn't alone.
That's so beautiful.
And their presence was the invitation for me to keep moving forward.
Wow.
And it was that connection. That's what it comes down to. Is when we're healing ourselves, it's all about connection, right? That it helps us throughout our entire journey.
Yeah, it's exactly what it's about. That's profound, that it's through connection with other people, other humans, other women, everyone, the nature, everything, that we find that deeper connection to ourselves and find that it's okay for us to be vulnerable. It's okay for us to show up and for us to share our stories. And that's how we're going to heal. And that's how we do the work, right? And so the work can show up in so many different ways. And so tell me a little bit about like your practices of when you're like in your spiritual, like I have this awareness and I need to dig in and find out what's going on. Kind of what is your spiritual practice like?
So I tell people it definitely gets messy, right? It gets gloriously messy. And at the same time, it's so freeing. And I just allow myself to feel. And that was the first time, especially in my culture, that it was okay to feel these emotions. It was okay to feel angry, that I wasn't that angry person, but I needed to move that energy out of me. And so I started with just really being okay with that, and then journaling the experience and asking questions, not only to myself, but to Spirit, to the people who are involved in my stories. And as I continued to go deeper into the work, I even started reaching out to the people who wronged me.
Wow.
And I just found so much freedom in that. I had no idea. The one thing that was stopping me from moving forward, I realized was me.
Oh, wow.
Through it all.
That's big. That's another great awareness to have, that we stand in our own ways, and we stand in our own way of healing, and we stand in our own way of moving forward because of our own fears and our own perception of what we think other people think of us, or what we think is going to happen if we change who we are in any way. And the work is not easy.
No.
It is messy. The work is not easy. The work is messy. But Richard Seaman always says your messes can become your message, right? And so your messes can become your message, and when we show up to them and we really dive in, and I love that you brought up journaling, because that's a great tool to use to really coach yourself almost. Like, you can ask yourself questions in there, and it's there's this practice called soul journaling where you might just sit in front of your journal and just write a question at the top and like maybe drop into a meditation and then just allow yourself to write, and whatever comes up, and there's no judgment, and it's all unconditional love. And you go back and read it, and half the time you don't even know where this information came from. You're like, what is this? But it's so powerful and it's so profound, and that definitely is part of the work that gets it, again, Richard Seaman, up, out, and give it birth, and like get it out of your body and into the life force and out into the ethers so that it can begin to be healed. So it's beautiful. Thank you for bringing that up. And again, like once you have the awareness and you move into the work can look like anything. The work can look like silent meditation, guided meditation, hypnotherapy, yoga, journaling, chanting, community gathering, group coaching. This is the work. Like we're doing the work right now by us having this conversation and bringing this stuff up. Like, have you ever spoken these things out loud in this kind of a format?
No, this
before?
is the first time.
Right? And it's different. And this it's another style of coaching that's available to us, is just having a conversation and being curious about like, what are you going through? How is it happening? And it's all to bring new light and new awareness, right? Back to that awareness, new awareness to what it is that we're going through. So thank you for sharing your story. And that's so beautiful. So the next stage as we go through this spiritual growth process is, again, first we have our awareness. We have this thing that we realize this is what we're supposed to work on. Hi, Olivia. Hi, Lori. Hi, Jill. And so as we're working through this, we have the awareness, we start doing the work, we start diving in and going really deep into like, why do I feel this way? Why am I behaving this way? What's at the core of what's happening? And then all these things come up and like, okay, yeah, goosebumps. Right? I'm like hot over here, goosebumps. And we have these new things that come up and we begin to process the work that we've done, right? Right? So we begin to see the lesson in it all and we begin to cultivate the gratitude for what we've gone through. So that's the process of it. So tell me a little bit about your processing of all of that and how you decided, like, okay, I've done all this work and now I'm going to sit with it and be with it and learn from it. Like, what did that look like for you?
So as I was going through the work, there was an awareness that I gained through my yoga teacher training that I did last year. And I couldn't figure out what was stopping me from like really moving forward and speaking. And I realized it wasn't just the voice in my head. But it was the voice of my mother. And I was owning that. And it was time to heal that, you know? That I wasn't her. That it was so much bigger than what I thought for all these years. I'm in my mid-40s and I'm starting to finally just live my life. It's the most glorious thing. And I'm ever so grateful for it all. Because I never thought I would ever come to this place in my life. I thought life was meant to just be really unhappy and angry. And now I've realized the beauty and the gift in that pain. And I've been able to turn that pain and that gift into wisdom so that I can go and help other people. So that's why I'm extremely passionate, as you can tell, to do this. I feel called to. And if I don't, I feel like I'm not going to live my life the way it was meant to do.
Thank you. Thank you for sharing. Thank you for being here and showing up. Like, I honor you so much. And the process, like you're processing right now, like we had an awareness, we did the work, and this is the process, the embodiment of the emotion. And you show up for it so beautifully and so raw, and like you're not hiding it, and you're like, yes, this is it, and it's so beautiful. So thank you for being here. So this is the third, right? This is the part, this is the process. And so as we're processing, it's the embodiment of these emotions that come up as we're doing the work. And it's the allowing, it's the appreciation and the acceptance that this is okay. Like this is what it looks like. And this is how we get to the place of grace and happiness and joy. It's by doing the work and recognizing that we're not our moms. We're not the voices in our head. We have our own person and our own identity, and we get to be that if we show up and decide we want to be. So thank you for showing up. You're amazing.
Thank you.
So we're going to take a pause in the 5 steps of spiritual growth here, because it's at this point in the process that something called spiritual bypassing normally happens. And so spiritual bypassing is when you're doing the work and you're in it and you're constantly doing the work. And so you have an awareness, you do the work, you come into the process, and through the process, you have a new awareness. And so you decide, okay, skip steps 4 and 5. I'm going back. I had a new awareness. Now I'm going to do the work on this, and I'm going to process this. And so it becomes this cyclic experience of awareness, work, process. Awareness, work, process. And you get stuck in this cycle. And that's great. Like, everyone has more awarenesses. Yes. Sometimes it's okay to shelf them in order to move past the process and to really live in the spirituality that you're learning and to embody these lessons. Next comes integration. We have to integrate the lessons, right?
Yes.
And so you easily could have taken this awareness, this new awareness that you had of, I am not my mother, and been like, oh my goodness, I have so much work to do around this, and gone right back into your spiritual, all around your mom stuff, right? And did you do that? No. So what did you do?
I've tried that before, and it doesn't work. In fact, I consider myself a runner, and I'm really good at running. Not only just mentally, emotionally, and spiritually, but, physically. That's what I did. I would get away, run for miles and miles at end. And now I'm learning through this work that I need to sit still, right? I need to process it and just be with it and not be so afraid. I remember when my yoga teachers said to us, your own energy won't hurt you. And when she said that, I'm like, oh, I just got chills again.
I'm like,
oh, okay, it's okay to just be here and just take it one at a time, because I know myself. I'm Miss ADD and OCD. I consider myself an organizing freak. So I can be here, and just shelf things, put them away for a little bit, maybe focus on one thing. So I'm a little scattered, and I have a feeling a lot of us are here and can relate to it. And sometimes I wonder, is this feeling of being scattered my way of avoiding, right?
Great awareness.
And so I just have learned just to take it one thing at a time.
One thing at a time.
There's
Beautiful.
no big rush, right?
There is no rush. We're here for lifetimes. There's no big rush. And so as you have a big awareness and you're working through it, when you learn the lesson of it, so it's like from you learning to use your voice and getting yourself out there and connecting with women, you then came to this awareness that I am not my mother, and I have my own identity, and I can be this person that has nothing to do with the stories that I was told growing up and the stories that I wrote for myself, and I can choose a new story. And the next step is the integration. And so it's saying, okay, like, thank you for that new awareness. I'm going to stay with this growth, though. I've learned so much from other women and this me giving back that I'm going to be here now. My favorite mantra, be here now, and learn the lessons and embody the lessons and put the lessons into action, right? Like, it's about it's saying, okay, this is how I behaved last time. I had this awareness that I don't like that, so I did some work around it. I processed why I was behaving a certain way, why I was showing up in a certain way. Now this situation comes around again because, right, life is cyclical and we're in a big spiral all the time. And so you come back to maybe a different situation with the same energy and background behind it, and now the universe is testing you and saying, here you go, put your lesson, show me that you learned your lesson, and break this cycle. And that is the integration piece, okay? And that is step 4 in your spiritual growth. So it goes, you have the awareness, you do the work, you process, and you embody the emotion and what's coming up for you, and then you pause, and you breathe, and you stop the work, and you be here now, and you be here with what you have learned, and you be here with what is happening in your life. Like, how many of us in the spiritual path actually stop and get to enjoy our life? Or are we just always on this spiritual path of learn, grab, I need to be as close to enlightenment as I can be. And we're also human beings, though, and the point of our spiritual practice is to integrate more into being a human and being better humans. And so it's that integration piece that is so, 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 so important. And you do it so beautifully. Jennifer is a friend of mine, and I spend lots of time with her. And so I know that she's doing the work and integrating, and it's so wonderful. And so that takes us into our fifth stage of spiritual growth, which is action. And so once we're living in this place and we're being here and we've learned the lessons, it's time to give back, right?
Yes.
And there comes a point where your spirit is going to say, and I'm in this place right now where I have been in the integration for the past 4 or 5 months. I've been in strong integration of everything I went through in 2017, and I'm now in this place of get it out. Like, it is literally exploding out of me in all areas of my life right now. It's incredible. And so tell me a little bit about the action that you're taking from your awareness that your story is important to the work where you learn that you're not your mom and this connection you had to women, and then the processing and to the integration. And now what are you doing to give this back?
So I believe in signs. And as things would come through, my latest one was a sign that said, okay, you need to join Toastmasters. It was from a friend of mine. I'm like, are you kidding me? I did that in 6th grade, and I hated it. So I did it anyways, and I just started like the week before Christmas, and now I'm in it, and I actually gave my first speech today.
Yay, congratulations.
My icebreaker, thank you. And I felt really good about it. It felt very freeing. So I'm doing that for myself to be a better speaker, but I also volunteer at a women's recovery center so that I can help them heal.
Beautiful.
Give them the tools that they need so that they can be better, right? And they can realize they are already whole.
Yes, we already know that they're whole, right? Like, we as coaches know that everyone is whole, and so you're giving that work back and giving it back to the women. And I know that you also do other things, like you hold EFT workshops, and you do a lot of other NE work here at SWIHA, and so you do a lot to give back. So tell me how your process and going through the 5 stages of spiritual growth helped you to arrive here.
You know what? It really came down to just trusting, knowing that it was so much bigger than me. I had to stop being the driver.
Oh, I love
in my
that.
car, and realize, okay, I'm not the one in charge, and just show me the signs, and just tap in, right, through meditation, journaling, praying. I honor a day of silence once a month, and that allows me to really just kind of check back in with myself, and much higher.
Up there. Yeah, up there. What does Casey do? Casey does this.
Yeah.
Be trust if your finger doesn't move. So that is beautiful, and it's the trust and the faith. And honestly, in all of this, it all comes down to trust and faith. And eventually, as you're going through this process and you're going through these 5 stages, like, become aware of, like, what stage are you in right now? Do you find yourself in the spiritual bypassing cycle? And, like, how are you going to shift out of that? What do you need? What kind of support do you need to be able to pause in your process and say, okay, this is where I'm at right now. This is what's happening. I'm just going to be with this. And are you willing to be uncomfortable? Because I promise it's going to be uncomfortable. You're going to be in that knowing with whatever process you're in, whether it be around family or friends or your career, whatever it is you're trying to do, whatever shift you're trying to make in your life. I invite you to pause. Pause it all for a couple of days, for an hour. Put down your spiritual books. Close YouTube or whatever else you do, and just be with what you've already learned and see what comes up for you, and see how you can begin to integrate those things into your life. Because spiritual bypassing is something that happens a lot in the community, obviously, the spiritual community, and it's something that can be transcended, and it takes a good hard look at yourself to be able to do that. And when you do that, especially if you're a spiritual healer and someone who's looking to give your gifts back to the community, you have to be able to get your boots on the ground. You have to be able to ground down and say, okay, I've learned my lessons. Not only have I learned them, but I've done them. I've changed my behavior, and I've put my lessons into action. And now I have the experience of what it feels like on the other side.
Yes.
right? And it's that feeling on the other side that you're like, oh, it's so good. Like, I want more of that. I did it. And then from there, you start building momentum. And then you're just like, all right, I want to keep doing this. And eventually, you just be with the work and you just be with the process, and you no longer want to spiritually bypass because you're not afraid of what's on the other side, because it feels so good. And on the other side is God, and on the other side is light, and on the other side is transcendence of shadow, honestly. And it's instead, like, I wrote a newsletter yesterday, and it really was 2017 was all about like my shadow. I love to dance, and so I have this metaphor that my shadow was leading me on the dance floor of life, like this cosmic dance floor of life. My shadow was the one who was in charge. And in 2017, I said no, and I twirled my shadow around, and I was like, I'm in charge now. And now I'm the one who's leading the dance, and it's beautiful. And in order to do that, you do have to take responsibility. And part of taking responsibility is stopping, pausing, and being. Be here now. Just be with what's happening in your life and accept it and love it. Learn to love the tears, learn to love the uncomfortable, learn to love, what else? All of it.
All of it.
It's all of it.
Because you can't make it any different.
It's just
and that's
the way
when
it
I
is.
realized I was suffering because I was trying to change something from the past.
Yeah, right? And that's what causes suffering.
Right.
It's our attachment to, I want to change what's already happened, or I want to decide what's going to happen in the future, and I'm going to control it. Or we try to control other people and put them in roles of how we want them to show up for us. And really, this is it. This is what you get. This is what you're in charge of. Not me, but you. This is what you're in charge of, and this is it.
It's so much easier.
It's so much easier.
You don't have to babysit other people's emotions.
Right? You don't have to worry about other people as much. Like, it's honestly, it's all about you. And that's a good thing, right? Like,
it is.
I only have to worry about me. Awesome. And then if you're a parent, you get to give those gifts to your kids and teach them those lessons. And remember that, like, you're here to guide your children and guide, your animals or whoever, your friends, but we're not here to control it. And so that's the detachment of it all. I guess that's the big lesson, though. It's always the detachment from the cycle and from the stages, and just like go through the stages and then be detached from what you think is going to happen. So yeah. So thank you for being here, Jennifer. Do you have anything you want to add? Any closing statements?
No, I'm actually really glad I did this. I wasn't expecting that.
I'm glad you did this too. It was divine appointment. We're matching. We're here. This is exactly. It was perfect. Thank you for being here.
Thank you. I appreciate you.
And thank you all for being here. We do have a few more minutes, so I'm open to questions, comments, curiosities, anything that you guys want to say. Crystal, Jana, Jillian, hello. Jennifer, I see Kate is brilliant. Hello, Dulce. You're such a beautiful human, Jennifer. So grateful you've turned your gift into wisdom and you're answering your calling. Beautiful. Thank you, Crystal. You're so inspirational. Wow, so precious and beautiful. Thank you, Becca. Hi, Nicole. Hi, Lori, Olivia. Who's the speaker? Who is that woman with wild, uncombed hair? Well, that could be either of us. I'm Sharon, and this is Jennifer.
I love it.
Oh, my goodness. Hello. What an incredible session. Thank you, Michael. Thank you for being here. It was. And so this is just another style of coaching. Not all coaching is always action-based and question. It could be that there's just a model that we talk about and we talk through, and things come up, and the process, it does its work.
That
it
was
always
a pleasant
does its work.
soul surprise.
I'm so grateful. Thank you for being here.
Thank you.
And if you're looking for an anchor to keep you in the moment and to allow you to do the processing and the integration here and now, be here now. I literally have that chained around my ankle and secured into the middle of the earth, and it keeps me so present and so here. And so I invite you, if that resonates with you, be here now. It's a Ram Dass quote. And so I honor you. I thank you. Thank you all for being here. You're all wonderful. Everybody needs you. Everybody needs your gifts. Everybody loves you. Thank you for being here. I'll see you next Tuesday. Bye-bye. Thank you, Luna.